Continue from where we stopped yesterday. Um, in the configuration yesterday, we had a little bit of a small challenge, but that has been resolved. Then again, someone also called my attention to what he noticed, which that's also the first time I will notice such. The last configuration I did for deployment, it wasn't like that. But probably, like I said, I actually look for a simpler way to deploy it. That might also be why we are having what we had. But the fact is that we'll get to resolve everything today by God's grace. So let me just brush us through what we did yesterday. We're talking about, okay, first, let me just take us back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so let me briefly a kind of review of what we did yesterday. Yesterday we talked about two major kind of applications that can assist us in our monitoring our infrastructure. Please, I need your attention. So we discussed about Prometheus and Grafana. And then we said for us to monitor any infrastructure online, we have to install an exporter that will export whatsoever is happening in the system. I mean, the metrics of the activities in the system to Prometheus. And then yesterday, we also talked about scrape, time series database. And then from all these, we get all the metrics transferred to Grafana for good visualization of what is happening. That's just brief of everything we discussed yesterday. And that yesterday, we also went ahead to do direct implementation of all that we have discussed about. So yesterday, we had 3 nodes. So let me go back to, is it going to? I hope it's not going to restart. Okay, so yesterday we mentioned we have 2 VM1, we have VM2, we have VM3. And then we call this Prometheus, we call this Grafana, we call this our node. I'm coming back to mention something here, one particular error we made yesterday. Then we gave them 3 different IPs. This is 165.7.201.241. This is blah 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 242. Then this is blah 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 243. Yesterday we've installed our node exporter on this. Who can remind me the reason why we need to install a node exporter? Were you here yesterday? The reason why we need to install node exporter on our.
All right, sir. Thank you. Node exporter is responsible of sending the data from the host. I can call the machine. Will I call it host or I can call it target, the one we want to monitor, the machine we want to monitor. Yes.
Whatever you want to monitor, whatsoever, it could be a database, it could be an infrastructure, you need to install the node exporter of that particular kind of things you want to monitor, the kind of activity you want to monitor. So I explained that yesterday that we have different type of node exporter. When I give you the slide, you can go to Prometheus website and also Grafana website. You will see more information of everything that we are currently discussing. So we said you need to install a node exporter. Then on our Prometheus too, okay, on our Prometheus server, we have installed Prometheus. So we have installed node exporter. But yesterday, while we were trying to configure Prometheus to monitor node exporter, if you remember, we did not see the node. And the reason was just that we're using a reserved name, node, in the configuration of the YAML file. Can you still remember? So after we troubleshoot, we later change the name to node testing, something like that. Then immediately it discovers the device we want to monitor. So you can go back to 165.73.201.241 column. Who can tell me the column? The port number for Prometheus. 1990. That's the default port. For security purpose, you can decide to reconfigure your port to use another port. But with this, we are using port 1990. So if you go there now, can we go there? Okay. So online participants, you can also do the same thing. So let's go there together. 165.73.201.241 column 1990. So you go straight to the status and then you click on target. So this is what we're trying to monitor yesterday. And if you can see, we have the device we are trying to monitor. That's the node tester. So that was the name that's the name I changed it to yesterday before the before Prometheus could discover it. So the next thing we need to do now, I hope all of us were on this page. Are we on this page? So the next thing we need to do now is to now install Grafana. We want to be able to visualize all that we have on this particular system in terms of the processor, the RAM, the disks, to be able to see the way they are faring, the utilization of those devices and their health status. So that's what we want to do. So what we now need to do is to go to and log in. So please, I need someone to tell me what I need to type. We all know the IP address of the Grafana, the proposed Grafana server. That's what I just showed us before we came down to this place. Okay, so let me just continue. So I will SSH into SSH to what now? To graph. Graph at what? What's the IP address? 165 dot 73 dot 201 dot what? 242. So the password is okay. So we are in graph now. So what I'm going to do now is have we okay? We've not installed Grafana. I don't think so. So let's just go straight to Grafana installation. It seems as if did we install it yesterday? No. Okay. Can we see the screen? So I paste this. I think it's the same thing. Okay, and I remember we were trying to download yesterday. Okay. I remember now. Okay, I think it's installed. Let us start it. So let's see if we can access Grafana now by typing the IP. For Grafana, the default port is 3000. Let's 165.73.201. Dot what? What's the IP? 242 column 30, sorry, 3000. Yeah, this is our Grafana. So the default username and password is going to be admin. At login is going to ask you to change your password. So this is admin. This is admin. So it's asking me, but I can as well skip for now. I want to just skip for now, but for you, you can. Sorry, no one should do any configuration, please. It's the same system we are using. So maybe the username is admin. You can be monitoring what is happening. You can log in to see what is happening, but don't touch anything, please, because it's one system. So I'm skipping. So here's Grafana. This is our own Grafana now. So it's for us now to customize this to begin to monitor whatever we want it to monitor in terms of our infrastructure. Any question? There are quite a number of things you can do here, as in you can use a month and be customizing whatsoever you have here. There is nothing this application cannot monitor for you, or sorry, visualize when you work with the Prometheus, when you connect it to the Prometheus. Different kind of view. Are we okay? Do we get it? Well understood, Abby? Okay. So the next thing we want to do now is to now connect. So the next thing we want to do now is begin to add connect Prometheus to Grafana, and then customize our dashboard, at least for that particular node that we added. So let's go back to our PowerPoint so that we can follow it step by step. So now we want to create a data source. Then we're going to download a pre-built dashboard of Prometheus. Then we import the dashboard into Grafana. And I think that's all. So what we'll do now is that we're going to Prometheus website. Sorry, Grafana. And then what exactly do we want to get? We want to get a pre-built dashboard for Prometheus. You get that? Let me just show us some few things here. Before we do that, like I was telling you before now, that there are quite a number of things you can visualize. So you can see, you can monitor almost all form of infrastructure. You can see your Linux, your Docker, MySQL. I don't think there's anything you want to monitor in terms of IT infrastructure that you cannot monitor using Grafana on Prometheus, and it's going to give you a wonderful display. So I will encourage us after this class, we should just go and go through all these applications, and you can install it on your virtual desktop too. There's Linux, there's Docker, MySQL, Kafka, RabbitMQ, Windows, Postgres, even your AWS, Jenkins, all these. You can also see that you can also visualize them, your MongoDB, Oracle. So you can as well monitor everything that you desire to monitor. I'm looking for. Let's add the data source first. So our data source is Prometheus. So you have different type of data sources that can connect to your Grafana. So what I mean data source, things that generate data and inject it into your Prometheus, into your Grafana. In our own case is what now? Prometheus that we are using. So you can see all time series databases. So that means you can use all these, harvest your data, and then inject it into Prometheus. Please, do we get what I'm trying to say? We've decided to use Prometheus in our own case. We say Prometheus and Grafana. Why I want to dwell more on this area is just for us to have the basic understanding of what happened. It's not only Prometheus that is available for your configuration or to harvest your data. But in our own case, in this workshop, we are concentrating on, we are discussing Prometheus. But you have some other, you have InfluxDB, you have OpenTXDB, you have Locky. If you remember, we did talk about Locky. So this one helps to harvest logs, and it gives you a better interpretation of your logs. So you can go and work with this. Like I said, Prometheus is more of metrics than logs. So, but if you want to get more of Locky, you just more of your log interpretation, you can install your Locky. You have Elasticsearch and many others that you can use to get your data. But in our own case, we are looking at Prometheus. So our data source is actually Prometheus, which we have installed on our Grafana. I'm accessing our own Grafana that we have installed now. So I will just click on this, and then thereafter it's going to ask me to impute the IP of our Prometheus. Please, are we getting it? Are we getting it? So the name of our application is Prometheus. That's by default. That's what we have pick, we can change it, but in our own case, we have said that it's Prometheus. And then we are connecting to the Prometheus we have installed locally. So we are going to put the IP here, then we save, because that's actually our data source. Who can tell me? Someone should tell me our IP. Okay, I can as well just go here and copy it. Do we get it? Okay, so the next thing is there are quite a number of things you can reconfigure from here, but we are not going through all that. So we are just going to save and test. So save and test. So it said successful. So can we see what is written here? Successfully queried the Prometheus API. So that means we have successfully connected our data source to our Prometheus. So we go back to our Prometheus, refresh. So the next thing is for us to connect, get a dashboard. Connection. We are going to download a dashboard, data source, default. But we've added this.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, please. Answered. I want to, okay, let me check. I'm coming. Next step is to add. So we have to import the dashboard into Grafana. Okay. I'm trying to locate a particular function. Okay, so I've seen what I'm looking for. It's actually here. So what we need to do now is to import the dashboard. So here is the function. This is what I'm looking for. Import. We've created the dashboard. So the next thing is for us to import. So when you click the import, so this is the JSON file I'm talking about. You say find and import dashboard for common application at grafana.com. So we will click on this now. Let me explain. So after we created the first dashboard, the next thing now, like I said, it depends on the kind of thing you want to monitor. That will determine the kind of JSON file you are going to import. So here now, the best approach is to just go to grafana.com to import the kind of dashboard JSON file for the kind of device you want to monitor. And then when you import it, then it's going to display everything to us. So let's just go straight to that website. So we want to do what? So you can see, you can visualize all kind of, and see different type of dashboard. Monitor your Kubernetes deployment using Prometheus. So these are things related to Prometheus. Let me scroll so that you see different dashboard that you can use. Can we see? So these are the different dashboard. That's the way it's going to display and monitor whatever you want to monitor. But in our own case, we want to monitor our node using Prometheus. All these are for Prometheus. So we look for something, we look for a dashboard that is relevant to what we want to monitor. Okay, this is node exporter full. So we can use this. So we just click on this. Sorry, I have double click. Sorry, I actually mistakenly double click and it has, okay. Sorry, please, let me just be done with this. So we're going to download this. So it also has an ID that you can just copy the ID. So we download this. So we go back to our Prometheus. Then we upload the JSON file. Then we click on import. Sorry. Prometheus data source. Select a Prometheus data, okay. So these are Prometheus now. Just for the node that we have imported. So it's this is the node. Everything we install. That particular node exporter. Should we do it? Okay. So let me go back to this. I went to dashboard. So I click on import. So like I said, we have different types that if you want to download. So you go here, then you pick. Sorry. You now come here and then you download the JSON file. Oh, this is not. Sorry, I'm trying to access the dashboard where we'll see all that we are currently monitored. Again. Okay. What's the question? Does. Okay, so this is what we currently configure and we are monitoring. So this is the node that we installed as the third application. Hello? So currently you can see the graph. These are all the graph is monitoring. This is our own Prometheus now monitoring the additional node, the one node that we added. So this is the CPU, this system load, this is the RAM, swap, root, CPU, and it tells you the configuration of all that we have here. You can have more than this, but it's something to play with. And if you want to have a better visualization, you can for example, this is just to have a better view of, I think this is the RAM. Yeah, this is the RAM usage. Just like what he was saying. Let me see if I can find the disks that he was mentioning yesterday. Because Prof also asked the question yesterday to monitor the disks. Okay. This is a graph of the disks. So this is our disk utilization. You can this one here, disk space use basic. So this is just giving us basic disk usage. So the yellow indicates the use, while the green indicates the total. So currently, the total is what? Maybe like 40 gig or 40% of the actual. Did it tell us where the total is? This green here indicates the total, while yellow indicates the use. So this means we have used less than 20% of the disks. the spike, yeah, is network. Maybe at a point there's something that happens. Where is Dr. Yeah, Dr. Ojedoku? Because this morning was asking something about the network. Then someone online also asked about, can it monitor your network traffic? Yes. The traffic between the node users now. Okay. This is just measuring between the link, the user and this node. It might be at the point when it was trying to pull. Exactly. That's when you had this spike. So it's just between this spike you are having now, it's just between Prometheus and between Prometheus and the node. This network traffic is basically between Prometheus and the node. So you can play with it. It's not what we can't discuss everything here. Even myself, I've not explored to a certain extent. But this is just the fundamental. I don't know if there are any questions. It's just for us to do the basic, and then you can go ahead and do more advanced things.
Thank you, Engineer Bola. My question goes thus. Can we run more than one dashboard concurrently?
You just be switching. You can see where it's asking us to. You can add dashboard. Okay, let me go to. You can create another new dashboard, or maybe another device, another thing you want to monitor. So you can have as many dashboards as possible.
To have a robust dashboard combining the three.
Yes. You can now have a summary. Of course, you will not be able to get all on a single page. It's quite a number of things. Sure. But you can have a summary on a single dashboard. Then if you want to now get a deeper knowledge of what is happening, you pick each dashboard and you do a deep dive into what is happening on that particular infrastructure. All monitoring tools have that. Okay. So you can have as many smaller. So if you now like a channel, exactly.
Well, me, I'm not talking about channel now. A way of infusing the three together.
Yes, that's what infusing the three together.
Yeah, and you now have, instead of having them in channels, you now have a big dashboard.
For the whole.
Yeah, for the three.
All of them
together. Yes.
You have like supercomputing. Okay, let's assume our infrastructure, that is the high performance computing, that you cluster together.
Yeah.
The hardware must have been clustered together for you to now monitor everything, because they are separate
entity.
So if you want to make a single dashboard, that means you first need to bring everything together before you now use one dashboard to monitor everything. But if they are separate entities, you need to create a separate dashboard for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, you can allow the person, if the person wants to speak. Okay, Mr. Chinedu, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Bola. Wonderful presentation. Again, I apologize, I was not there on the first day when the overview of the FEDGEN HPC was presented. So my question is, the monitoring is a very crucial part of the HPC, so I would like to see how it relates to the components of what the FEDGEN is trying to, the various applications of the FEDGEN. I see you have the FEDGEN testbed, the public health information system, and the data center. Also, the federated aspects. What's your level? How far have you gone, to integrate all these items, and how they can be monitored using Grafana and Prometheus?
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I want to log in into our existing gram. Sorry, yeah, of course. So, thank you very much, Mr. Chinedu. Sorry, let me. So I want to show you that first and foremost. Okay, let me first go here. Then I will now describe how we are monitoring those devices. Like I said, it's an infrastructure that we are building. We have not gotten to where we want to be, but we are moving on gradually. So let's go to FEDGEN.net. So this is FEDGEN.net. And then we have several infrastructure that we are coming up with gradually. We have the test bed. We have the public health information system. This is just our website. Then we have our data center where we have our HPC cluster. We have our coding hub. Then we have the Fed monitor itself. So the Fed monitor is what actually monitor all this infrastructure. So first and foremost, let me just go to this FEDGEN test bed. I'm just trying to answer the question that he asked just now. So maybe after this class, maybe if we have time, we can even decide to go to where we have those physical infrastructure. So we have more than this now, but this is, if you want to know more about what we're currently doing, this is our website. And this is a place where you can request for resources when it comes to using our resources. We don't give to everyone, but it depends on your collaboration with us because as we all know, resources are limited and we are just building up our resources. So this is FEDGEN.net where you can request for our testbed infrastructure and also data center. So if you get here, there are that directive that you get. You fill in this form and then you get the resources you want to get. At the same time, we have, let me go back. We have our PHRS. All these are being monitored from the Grafana also. So these are our PHRS. So all our research, whatever we are doing, our findings, the knowledge we are getting every now and then as related to, because our research is all encompassing. It's a collaborative research on cancer, malaria, and also on high performance computing. So all the knowledge that we can get, this is where we put them. On cancer, on whatsoever, on cancer, on malaria, you get them here, but not all. And then if you also have anything you want to post, in knowledge you want to share with us based on malaria or cancer, you can sign up and upload the data. It's going to be reviewed, and then you have that data here also. So these are our PHIs. You can see FEDGEN PHIs. Again, we have, okay, this will also take you to the same place. And then we also have, this is currently ongoing, the data hub. I think that is also, okay, this is our coding hub. It's a GPU server where you can do your artificial intelligence research. You want to build a model. We have, just like Professor Adetiba was describing the day we started the opening ceremony, he gave us a brief of the infrastructure we have. And the fact is that we are upgrading. By God's grace, we are getting another GPU server. I want to believe that that GPU server, there's no university, I'm not boasting, there's no university that has that currently in Nigeria. We have, but the one we currently have, they are in A100 and some other lower version for GPU server. But we are getting very soon we are going to get a new one that comes with H200 from NVIDIA. So I can log into this place. This is the coding up, and this is where you do your analysis. If you want to get this kind of thing from Google, you have to pay $100 for a particular period of time. But we have it in Covenant. Though it's, like I said, it's not enough. At times we have to schedule people using these devices, or sorry, using this infrastructure. Then thereafter, we now have, that's where I'm trying to log into, the FEDGEN monitor. Sorry, let me, it's been longer I logged into it. Let me see if I have my password here. I hope the password still works. Okay, yeah. So you can see we have all the devices that we monitor. Like you can see from here, we monitor the coding up, the FEDGEN log up, this our slum dashboard, that's from the HPC, the data center, region 1, region 2, region 3. So, sorry, Mrs. Sweet William, John, which region is landmark? Region what? Region 3, okay. So let's see if we can monitor landmark from here. If we can. So this is a landmark. So this is what is currently happening on the infrastructure in Landmark University. Okay, this is the one our prof showed us yesterday. That's the coding hub. Like I said, it's something we are also just coming up with. Gradually, we are building on the infrastructure. We are perfecting it. You know, even the Western world, before they got to where they are today, it's just a continuous work, not living up. And that's why we're organizing this kind of training, to have more people working together. It's actually not an easy task, but we know very soon we'll be among the 500 in the world. You know, we have the top 500 supercomputing. Very soon, Covenant is going to be part of them by God's grace. So we are just putting in our best. Mr. Chinedu, am I able to answer your question? Please kindly unmute and.
Fantastic, sir. I'm very impressed.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other question? For most of us that we are developers, we are system administrator, we can just go back to our station and see what we can do with this.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. I don't know if this question has been answered before. I want to ask, is it possible that an attacker on a hacker can silently install node? Yes. Yeah.
Before that person will be able, you know, normally on your Linux machine, before you can install anything, you must be a root user. So that means the person has your root access. So if that person gets access to your root username and password, that means the person can do that. That means not only the monitoring, that means your application is not safe. So I can't say that it's not possible. It's possible if you are careless with the way you manage your infrastructure. So there's no attack that is not possible.
So, thank you very much, sir, for showing us the dashboard and walking us through. But just a follow-up question to what he asked Mr. Chinedu concerning the dashboard. Does FEDGEN currently have, because I know I've run into some problems within the HPC that were not resolved as fast. So I just wanted to ask if there was any automated way that alerts does come And if
Okay, when there are challenges.
When there are challenges, and if there are probably site reliability engineers that can even help out with it.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. We know, okay, this go to public now. Okay, yeah, we're in Nigeria, so there's no, but we know the challenge we are facing in the IT industry. Yes, at the commencement of this project, we have engineers working, and then we're able to employ few engineers also. But unfortunately, all the people we employed, they've all jackpot, up to like 2. So, and though we have some other persons here that the activities, the work we are currently. Top with current, like I said, we are just building up. We are building up the infrastructure, and the expertise is also very scarce. That is where we are organizing training like this. Like in FEDGEN too, we also have a consultant that work with us. If you remember the day you called me, I said, okay, let's connect with him. He has more time than I do. Say the fact, I don't think I have much time like I used to have before. But there are other. I want to invite the director, Center for System and Information Services, Landmark University, to just come and give us some few of his own idea. He's also a guru. He's an expert when it comes to things like this. So he's just silent there watching us as if there's no important person there. So Engineer Femi, please, the director.
Good morning, sirs. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I've learned quite a lot, and I've been so pleased at least to see quite a lot of things we are doing towards improving the infrastructure, learning about high computing. I believe last year, Engineer Bola and his team told us that they will also be setting up a cluster over at our end. So, and the period when they came around, I think this is Sweet Williams and a team, they came around and they did some of the installations, the setting up of the cluster. And, we're able to also learn some few things too alongside. We did it together, how we are going to allocate IP address. And also, the cluster has also helped some of our students over there in Landmark, some of our UG students and PG too. So they make use of this cluster to do some of their tasks, because towards, I think around May, a lot of them were defending their project. So because as they were driving their laptop, they observed that they couldn't meet up. So they had to call to us that we should create an instance for them and an account. So they were able to do their computation. So the cluster was so helpful during the period, and they were able to get their job done. The thing they didn't do is they'll say thank you at the end when they finished everything. Yes. So I was so pleased that at least part of all those things, we are trying to solve issues, problems, and trying to make people focus more on the research. So they have little time to do the processing, because if you spend maybe trying to take days for things that takes days on your computer, and you're trying to do it within a few hours on the cluster. So it's very helpful. And I'm a network person and server administrator. So most of the things we have learned here is so very helpful. Like I believe, as we're actually doing it here, I was also setting it up in Landmark directly, so that I was able to start testing real time too. And since yesterday, I did it, and I didn't know that because the Prometheus was working. So when we plugged in the Grafana now, it has picked logs from yesterday afternoon till now. So I was able to see real-time data. And this is also something that we have quite a number of monitoring tools, but I believe this one is also giving us an extra edge in making sure that we're able to monitor quite a number of things. For instance, we have a name server within the university that manages our domain. So this will also be included to help us in our monitoring. Sometimes we use, for instance, we have Limbre NMS, which we use for our network equipment, and we also use Kuma. I don't know if we have heard about it. So the advantage Kuma has is that it even gives Telegram notification. So this Grafana tool will also be used and we'll be able to exploit fully. Thank you very much.
Sorry, on the screen now, just to add to those things we discussed before now, based on the question from Mr. Chinedu, this is our how-to in using our HPC cluster. So if you want to use our HPC cluster, by the time you go through this documentation, is online. That's hpcdoc.fedgen.net. If you go through this documentation, you will have a good knowledge of how to use our server infrastructure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other question?
So Mr. Chinedu says that there's PRTG and CACT for monitoring. Yes.
Additional monitoring to CACT, PRTG, and they are all open source. So you can use them. If you want to extend, then you will get a license one. Thank you, Mr. Chinedu.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I just want to make a comment on the FEDGEN resource so far. I am a PhD bioinformatics student, Covenant University, and I just want to appreciate FEDGEN for assisting me so far in my work. I got to a point where I was using tons of gigs of biological data, and it was almost impossible for me to use that on my system. At some point, my system even crashed, but FEDGEN really came through for me. I've been able to use their resource, and for most part of my analysis, when I'm giving feedback to my supervisors, I always mention FEDGEN did this, FEDGEN did that. One of my supervisors had to ask, what is FEDGEN? Who is FEDGEN? I just want to say thank you so much for the support. Thank you.
So let me just tell us a little thing about FEDGEN. Where FEDGEN started, we used to call it Federated Genomic. That is the way. That is the acronym. But after some time, when we realized that, no, this is beyond just genomics, then we now came up with Federated General Omics. And you know, we have several omics. We have proteomics, genomics. Who can tell me more? Transcriptomics. So we can do all omics. Any research that has to do with omics, you can come to analyze them on our infrastructure. Metamonomics. So that's the full meaning. And then that's, if you don't know about FEDGEN, you can see the goal. You can also go to our website, but you can get more of the detail. The goal of Federated General Omic, that's FEDGEN Research Project, is to develop groundbreaking research artifacts on federated cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and general omic for precision medicine in Africa. So that is it. You can read further to know about it. We are continuously expanding our private high-performance computing, I've said that, infrastructure to implement the FEDGEN data center and FEDGEN testbed. Where's Mr. John? He just left. Mark, can you just come and tell us brief about the FEDGEN testbed?
Yes, as the name implies, as the name implies, the testbed, the infrastructure where I won't say it's like a workspace, not so much of a playground, where you are given plain level ground to do your experiments, researches, like your workroom, because we still have the proper production. That's our that's where we run all those texts. Maybe students' research work, that's the place where they incubate their ideas, bring it to fruition. Every experiment they need to do, they perform it there. And once it's mature, can go properly to our our cluster, our main cluster, which is what Engineer Bola is showing right now. And like he said, this test beds, not just in Covenant, we have presently also deployed one to Landmark. We are getting ready. Anytime from now, we are set to launch the Afe Babalola, which will be the Region 5. like you said, landmark is region 3. And shortly too, we are ready to deploy to Congo. This test beds infrastructure. For the Congo, the infrastructure is already on ground. We're just waiting to, after affair, that will be the next one we are deploying. So what we have happening on ground here will be happening, is already happening in Landmark, will be happening in Afe Babalola, and happening in DRC Congo. And like you saw, we are able to visualize the activities of Landmark and monitor on ground from here. So I guess that's all.
Thank you very much, Ma. That's it. So this is just a layout of our HPC cluster. And like I said, we have it beyond this now. We need to update this. We've gotten additional infrastructure. I still spoke with our cloud consultant this morning because we have some deployment we have to, some upgrade we want to make. So maybe by end of September, yes, by end of September, we'll have, the cluster we will have will be far beyond, will be almost ×2 of what we currently have here now.
Workshop so far. So as someone who has had like a growing interest in server infrastructure and security this past couple of months, this particular workshop is a very great opportunity. Like I've learned a lot. I've been able to connect very various parts of this whole stuff to further my learning. Containerization, DevSecOps, and how it differs from DevOps. Looked into monitoring systems like you've shown with Grafana and Prometheus. So all these little bits, I feel like I can take it and further apply it into maybe building servers and monitoring servers myself. So thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's been a great week so far, and like my colleague said, I've learned a lot myself. And I remember when we started using the coding hub, it was issue upon issue, but we are happy about what has been done and what we have been able to do with it. So we want to say thank you to FEDGEN, to the entire team. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so back to Mrs. Sweet.
In the course of the workshop, something came up that I would not want to die off. One of the facilitators said something about building a community. I think it's very, very critical. I remember when, at the onset, when we set out to do this, we've not seen it built anywhere. So building from the scratch, and we wanted to do something we could own. We had, we set out to look for mentors, but it was very difficult. We even thought our African counterparts will get support, but the kind of support we were looking for from them, we didn't get. So that's why this community thing is very, very important to me. And I know they had their own community that was very difficult for us to break into. So I think it would be critical as a communique from this event that we should put something in place that would drive and foster this, the involvement of a community from this workshop, where we could, as we saw during this workshop, where there are persons that you could rely on for some information. You don't know this, I know this, we could collaborate. I think we should put a structure in place that should start from here and go beyond this place, so that a community, I don't know what we'll call it, but a community will evolve from here that will take whatever we have learned here further and beyond this point, because I see the flame that has been kindled fan into a very big fire. Thank you, sir.
So first of all, the workshop has been very, very educative and insightful. So all thanks to the facilitators, instructors, and even the leadership in Covenant University. And we appreciate all the efforts you've put into place since 2019. You've had a lot of setback, COVID-19, and all the rest. And today, you are here, you are standing strong. So we appreciate you. And we also pray for more grace and more strength to continue to push. So going to Mrs. Engineer Sweet Williams' talk or suggestion, I will have. I'm suggesting we should maybe on this website, this FEDGEN site, maybe we have a forum where we experts can always interact. So we have a common point where experts, beginners, intermediates can talk. We can talk machine learning, we can talk security. So anybody that is really having, just like Stack Overflow, so something that is going to be more African within. I don't think there's anything of such. No, thank you.
You can see this is the second HPC. That's the second HPC workshop was titled Advanced High Performance Computing. So we had the first one. You can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. That's CApIC-ACE. This is the YouTube channel. CApIC-ACE. That's FEDGEN. I know, see, we don't have much subscriber because we are just starting. And then the community is growing gradually. So you can go subscribe all the videos for the past workshop. The first workshop was actually very, we had people from almost all parts of Africa because it was sponsored by AFD. So every participant, we were lodged in the hotel, the transport fare, people from Congo, from Kenya, from Senegal, from Benin. We even have more of international participants than local participants, and everybody was fully sponsored. So please, we want to encourage you, get to if you don't have any knowledge as related to HPC, you can go to this YouTube channel. You will see the first series of training that was conducted. So let me just take us there briefly. So please, I want to encourage us. Let's subscribe to this channel. Okay, so the link is on the. You can see this particular one is how to deploy an HPC cluster manually. This is the first of the series. Yeah, you can see this is the first. So like I said, the people that are there today is because of consistency. And if we are consistent and we are getting support, everyone is contributing. Africa too can even people doing it that in those Western world, quite a number of them are African. Just because there's no enabling environment here. But if we can up ourselves, we can also get to where those people are today. Like I said, our mission and our vision is to be among the 500, which is possible. Don't you think it's possible? It's possible. So this is the first, you can see, first high performance computing workshop organized by Covenant Apply. And that is basic and intermediary high performance computing. So that was where we started from, the basic. And then we now have the second one, and this is the third one now. And that's why we are adding security. Focusing, okay, we have deployed, we have done some little advanced things. Now, how do we secure? And that's why we are concentrating more on security, just to give us a background. Thank you.
So, first of all, I would like to say thank you. I know you don't hear this very much, but coming from my journey, I think I started the first workshop here, and that was my first year in my MSc. And I remember sitting where this gentleman is seated today, and everything was like Chinese to me because, yeah, I came from a pure biological background and I had no idea of computing or what high performance computing is. But as the one went by of the first training, I started getting ideas. I started getting introduction, and I must commend the speakers. They try as much as possible to make it simplified for those who have no idea what to be able to grab the concept. And from there, I started having experience because after the HPC workshop, when I went to the classroom and my teachers were explaining some concepts in computing, it started making sense to me because before I had no prior understanding. But after going through the hands-on training, I started understanding the concept. So I must commend the efforts that the ideas, the people that brought the ideas into being, and the FEDGEN infrastructure should keep on this good work, because actually you might not know how it affects the personal life or the personal experience of individuals, but it's something worth commending. And I wish this HPC is more of an annual thing and then maybe 2 times in a year based on funding. But I mean, yes, it's really something that I look forward to each time. And yes, then apart from that, the infrastructure, I've seen the growth. At least I've been here for 3 years, so I've seen the growth. Starting from my experience, I had an issue with my computer when I was trying to do my project, and I was wondering how I was going to run those codes. And then the FEDGEN infrastructure from the high performance computer, I was able to access that and then run my code because I was running with images and I had a lot of computing powers that I needed. I had to upgrade to the test bed to try and run my codes there, and it's really helpful in my project. And I can say that for most of my colleagues, because most of them, like this year, that had issues with their system, they were able to apply for resources online and they were allocated laptop based on their needs. And most of them, another thing is good internet. Also, I must commend the cluster for what they are doing, because it's not easy to connect. Most of them, they don't even come physically into the building, but they just connect online and virtualize their system, and they use their remote desktoping for their system. And that is only possible because the idea is the brains behind it also try to make it seamless for those that are going to use it. So I also have to commend the great effort put in place for that. At least first we started with the normal internet and then we went to the 5G internet, and I see there's always an upgrade at one point or the other. As Engineer Bola said, we are expecting a new server that has not been used in any university. So you could see the great effort that is always put at improving the ideas, the human resources, and I really appreciate it. And I'd like to thank everyone that's put together this to keep up the good work, and God bless you. Thank you, sir.
So like I was saying, I was just trying to look at all the topics. If you look at this topic now, it's about shell scripting in Linux. So we have several topics that we have done in the past that you can also go to. Please, everybody, you must all subscribe. We have to do that now. You have free internet. Everybody must subscribe now. No subscription, no made ticket. So go to your account now. Go to your account now and subscribe. No breakfast. So I want everybody to go to CApIC-ACE. No certificate. You know there is certificate soon. So yeah, go and subscribe now. Breakfast is ready, but you must show me your subscription. No breakfast yet. You have free internet. So, subscription, go to our YouTube channel now, including people online. You did not pay for this workshop. It's free of charge. Okay. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And give a thumb up.